'Cause I can't help the way that I feel. 'Cause I can't help the way that I feel.
Vernier Scalper.
Willkommen auf meinem YouTube-Kanal. Ich bin Vernier Scalper and today we will be talking about From Up on Poppy Hill. Okay? Now this is a very significant film for me because this is the last one of my re-journey, okay? This is the last Ghibli film of my re-journey because the next film will be the first official Ghibli film that I have not seen at all, okay? Everything so far has been a rewatch. I've seen it once, twice, thrice, 4 times, I don't know, okay, clips. But the new stuff, okay, everything that is after this I've never seen and I've never read about as well. The most that I have read is some criticisms or praise that I've heard about Boy and the Heron. But other than that, the others like Princess Kaguya when Marnie was here. The next one which I will watch is the When the Wind Rises, okay? I don't know shit about those films. I don't know what to expect, okay? So I'm actually excited. And we will be starting next week, okay? I'm very excited. But this film, what a way to end the re-journey because we had to end on a shit stain. Everything so far has been pretty sick, okay? Pretty fun, you know, we have good moments. Even stuff like Ariete, okay? Even Ariete, I can find some crumbs, okay? Some crumbs of goodness, even though it's not the best of the, it's not what the, you know, it's not the best serving of the Ghibli that we have. But there have been lots of highs, okay? We've had Mononoke, we've had Spirited Away, we have La Puta, we've had Porco Rosso, like everything has something good, okay? Only Yesterday was one that I was not expecting to really, I wasn't expecting to cry. Yeah, I fucking cried. Pompoko, one of my favorites. Oh, my hair. Pompoko, Ponyo. I guess the only one that I was not super fond of. So the ones that I'm not super fond of would be Ariete. What was that? Cat Returns. And it really sucks because Cat Returns and Ariete have that whimsy that I like, but it was just not fully realized and it could have been way better, okay? Could have been way better. What is that? Whisper of the Heart? Whisper of the Heart was cute. It was cute. I like the sentiment. It's not the best. It is a bit mid, but Kiki 4 when I'm born with a system 4 new era. Kiki's really good, and I like that Kiki is getting a sequel. Alright, we're getting a sequel, we're getting a series, and you know I'll be watching that shit. I will be watching it and I will be talking about it here on the Vernier Scalper YouTube canal. Ich bin Vernier Scalper. But alas, we're here to talk about From Up on Poppy Hill. This film, another important thing to note before we really get into the beans, is that what he said, into the meat and the beans. Why is it meat and beans? That sounds very, very gassy. It sounds like you'll be farting for the rest of the day. Meats and beans. I think I'm just getting the quote wrong. So, one important thing to note is that this is directed by Miyazaki's son, okay? What is his name? Goro? Goro. So apparently, he He directed the RACY movie, which I am not planning to watch anytime soon because I do want to read the Ursula books so that I can really criticize. I know, like, it's not very fair to the others that were based on books, but I'm reading Ursula's books at the moment, so it's giving me this side mission. So no offense to the other source materials that Ghibli has used, but I'm not exactly excited as well because that movie was panned. So yes, and he also directed Earwig and the Witch. I don't know what is it about Goro, but he has not been, like, his reputation as a director for the Ghibli films has not been very good. So I know it is a very heavy burden to carry. The fact that your dad is this highly respected, is this legend, is this icon, and you just not delivering, okay? And he's not that young. He's like middle-aged man or something, right? So I don't know. There is still time. Like, how old was Miyazaki when he made the classics? All right, like Mononoke. Can we do some math? Mononoke was early 2000s. So Miyazaki would be, yeah, he's pretty old. He was up there, okay? He was very much up there when he made Mononoke and Spirited Away and Owl's Moving Castle. Okay, the trio trifecta, though the third one was a bit of a cop-out, the ending. But he was fucking old when he made those. So Goro, you still have a chance, man. You still got chance. So Goro, don't give up, okay? Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm rooting for you, but there is still hope. Okay, if Madonna can release Confessions 2 at the age of she is, you can fucking make a good film. You can make a good film, and if it's good, we're going to eat it up. You know we're going to eat it up. So, good luck to Goro on possibly having his first opus. Okay? Cause this film definitely ain't. This film ain't no opus. There's no opus inside here, okay? There is no opus inside here. And even though he's directing, it is not written by him, the screenplay is by Dad and this other person. No offense to this other person, but, So, he does not have the full control, he does not have the full control, the full reins. It is not entirely him, but he directed it, so this is something to note. We should get it out of the way. This film is very heavy-handed. It's very heavy-handed, and I will reiterate this at the end of the video in my conclusion, but it is very heavy-handed, okay? It's very heavy. So one of the things that I really like about Ghibli films, okay, be it Miyazaki, be it Isao Takahata, is that I enjoy the themes, okay? I enjoy the environmental allegory of it all. I enjoy the coming of age of it all. I enjoy the fantasy of it all, okay? And it is never overly sentimental. It is never... Of course, there is emotional depth, but it is not like shoving in your face like, oh, death, and oh, it's mopey and sad and just saturated with so much, like, trying to make you cry. It is not that, okay? I've seen so many of them at this point. The emotions that you feel are very much earned. Obviously, yes, when you're writing film, when you're writing books, when you're writing music, there is a sort of emotional manipulation that is like kind of thrown inside, subconsciously or consciously. Okay, you're trying to elicit a reaction, right? You want people to feel, you want people to take away something from the film, but there is ways to do it such that it's not so like, yeah, and with like Asian films, Asian art, it is a, like our very sentimental stuff. Okay, like, look at the ballads. Look at the ballads. It can be a lot. But I don't feel the way with Ghibli films. And this film. And this is what I'm curious. Does Goro study his dad's films? Okay, because I know some people, they want to distance themselves away from their parents' work, their parents' artistry. They want to be their own person and stuff. But I don't think it hurts to study the craft. You know, you don't have to be the same thing, but I think it's worthy to study the craft. You might be able to take some things out of it that you might not expect to relate or use or So I'm very curious what he thinks. Perhaps there are interviews out there that I should look up and read about. That would be interesting because, again, the dynamic of being Miyazaki's son is crazy, and you're making a film. You're dabbling into the same medium. Well, okay, like that is a lot of pressure. And yeah, that is what I want to know, because why is it that this is the product that he's creating? Like, is he trying to set himself apart? Is he trying to have his own way, you know, like his own way of doing things? Because it's not really giving the pizzazz and spark. It's very generic sounds mean. Okay, generic sounds mean, but this is a bit generic, right? It's a bit generic, it's a bit boring. It's very okay, so very overly sentimental. We have this whole relationship thing going on. We have this whole romance. You know, with the romances in Ghibli, it is never that overt, okay? It is usually a subplot, sub-theme. But with this film, it is very much the main plot, right? It is the main plot. Everything else really is just to muddy and cloudy up the fucking shit. It is the main thing, which is new for Ghibli. Usually we're focused on something else, something bigger, and the relationship is just like a byproduct of that. Something that blooms along the way, you know, like a wildflower. But this, and when we have the clubhouse, you know, the school, the clubhouse, this whole political rebellion, teens and passion, the rage, okay, all this like self-importance, this like self-righteousness that that these kids have, just thrown into the thing. And then we have the sad story of Umi, the girl, the main character girl, Umi. We have her sad story. It's just very heavy-handed. Everything is no, it is a lot. And for what? I like to ask that, like, for what? So the clubhouse is some nerdy as shit, alright? It is some nerdy as shit. And that building, I just know it fucking stank. You know, one of the previous videos I mentioned Janet Jackson video where she walks into the studio and she's like, "Ooh, this place stank. It stank. These people have been dancing. It must smell fucking dank. It must smell like feet." Okay, that is what I imagine, okay? It probably smells like wood, like old musty wood. Alright, musty wood, like dust. You can smell the dust, or the, what do you call it, sawdust, or the lime, what do you call it, lime powder? What is the thing that you, like these like old, asbestos, maybe asbestos? Feet. Definitely feet, because they're hinting that some of these people sleep in the clubhouse. People be sleeping in the clubhouse, and who knows, people be fucking and zucking in the fat. People be zucking and fucking in the clubhouse, for all we know. I know this is a children's film. Well, it's not really a children's film, but it's a family-friendly film. But you know, people be sucking and fucking. They're teenagers, and it doesn't matter what decade this is set in. This is clearly in the past. They're sucking fucking condoms on the floor. Ooh, the cummy socks. Oh, I definitely, there is some sour smell going on as well. So the olfactory, right? So we have the old, crusty, dusty smells. We have the sour, okay? We have the sour, and not just the old sour, but the fresh sour, okay? The fresh sweat. Computers have not been born at this stage, but nerd armpits. Oh shit! The nerd armpits must go crazy in this fucking clubhouse. The nerd armpits at this clubhouse. Oh, it stink. It stank. I don't know. I just like to talk about the olfactory because that is something that we cannot physically react to, or that's not what I mean. You know, when we see the video, it does not come through the screen, but it is something that we can imagine based on the things that we're looking at. Sour. And what if somebody brings food? Because, you know, teenagers, okay, we've all been like, yeah, clubhouse. I wish like my clubhouse or club situational in my teenage years was as cool as this. But we all know what people do. You buy your fast food, you buy your food, your drinks, and whatever you bring into the fucking place, it's going to smell. And the mixing and the mingling. Oh shit! So the clubhouse is pretty cool, and this is the thing. They try to make the clubhouse this central area, okay, this central area of interest in the film. Hold up. So if Miyazaki is the one who's writing it, means it is not exactly his son's fault for the plot. Oh, now I feel a bit bad. Now I feel a little bit bad. But okay, so Miyazaki, what the fuck is going on with the story? Okay, anyways, we can all have our flop moments, okay? We can all have our flop moments. Dash! They tried to make this so important, like this is the central point of interest. We want to clean this up because we want this place to continue. We don't want them to tear down and build a new building. It's fine as it is. So we want the higher ups to see the beauty that this place still has. That is the goal. That is the mission. Okay? And it is fun. I like the montage. The montage is really cool. It's funny. I like how the girls just scream at everything. They're just screaming, they're laughing, they're giggling at everything. Like, they've never seen dust in their life. They've never seen trash in their life. So they're just like, ah! So that was interesting, okay, that was nice, but still, I don't feel that invested, because yes, the clubhouse is a nice place, it's a hub for the students, but why do they, I don't know. Like, I get it, okay, I get it, especially as a youth, okay, a teen. These things that you hold on to are very important. Everything is just super crazy dramatic, very important. Everything is what is the word, exaggerated, you know, like relationships mean the world is ending. If the relationship crumbles, if this thing is taken away from you, you just like, you're just very, 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 very dramatic. So I understand. But it is not like we get to sit and get to know these people at the clubhouse. We only really know what's his name, Shun, and the other guy that is with him in the print room, the newspaper print room. Everybody else in the club, we don't really know them. There are tiny moments, we see tiny moments, tiny clips, but there is no real relationship with these people here. So the fact that they're losing the clubhouse, it's sad, but am I really that invested in it? Not really. Like, yeah, it's just not. And another moment of this is the political unrest. Okay, they're very angry about this, so they're having a debate on whether they should tear it down or build a new place because we need the modern to come with the new. So they're fighting against each other in the club, in the what do you call it, the hall? Okay, the debate hall. And there is that. I like it. Okay, I think that it is good representation of the energy of the youth. Okay, again, lots of self-importance, lots of self-importance, self-righteous, very over dramatic. Everything, the world is falling apart. I think it's a good representation. I think it's good representation. Though it's very man, because why is it just man here? Like, it's so much man. It's just a lot of like, it was a lot of that. It was a lot of stinking man. A lot of stinking man with stinking feet, stinking breath. Oh, that place must stink as well. Oh, that place, that hall during that debate. Oh, that shit. It must have stink as well. Okay, it must have stink. I know there are bigger issues than the stank of the armpits, but again, I don't feel that invested. I just feel like a fly on the wall. Being lost, confused, but still amused. Okay, so the people are fighting again. I better treasure my time here because this place might be torn down. Okay, it's not. I think that the film would have benefited if we had more side characters. Okay, more side characters and more time to really be in the school. But that's when another issue comes in, because they want this to be the central hub of the film. But really, what is the story about? It's about Shun and what's her name? Umi. It's about their relationship. It is not really about the school. The school is just a backdrop. The school is just a vessel. Okay? It's just a vessel for them to meet and bond and bloom a relationship out of. It is not really like a key thing in the story, really. If you look at it in hindsight, like what is it? He falls. Okay, at the start, he falls from the sky. Okay, we've done that in La Puta. He falls from the sky, very original, and she falls into the water, and they make eye contact, and ooh, so cute, yeah. And now we're here. Okay? The entire time, this first half of the film, Umi is just like getting wet. Okay? Her pussy is wet. Her pussy is like soaking the entire time. Like, oh my god, he's so bold. And every time I meet him, I get butterflies and oh, she's wet. Okay? She's wet. And clearly he has feelings for her as well. There's like sparks. So the whole thing is just like this teen romance. And then we get to the middle part of the film where we realize that they might be siblings. Okay, it is revealed through photograph that they might be siblings. I'm not going to explain the whole thing, okay? If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Go figure. But possible incest. So this whole time we've just been, and I'm sitting here thinking about how she's getting her pussy wet, and then he's getting his dick hard, and it's incest. Okay, again, taking into context that this is still written by Miyazaki, so I can't be like Goro wants to be different, so he's making an incest tale, but Miyazaki and that other writer, what is this? Like, what is this? Okay, and why did Shun pick the worst moment to ask his dad about, who his biological dad is? Why did he choose that way when the dad is driving the ship? Dad is busy doing something possibly really dangerous, and he's asking about, I want to know my real dad. Really? Oh my god, can you imagine if the dad actually like flipped his shit and was like, I am your father! But the dad was nice about it. The dad gave him some, history lesson about how he was found, how he was adopted. It's like this whole ass story that, okay, here we go again. Here we go with the backstory, the callback, the biological parents trope. Okay, we're doing that because why? Because this is set in the past, and that is really the thing about them. Okay, I get it. It's hard because there is no advanced technology. It's hard to really find. So it's hard to figure out. And what if you want to contact your parents? What if they're not dead? It's very complicated. I get it. So there is this very, again, emotionally dense thing that we can tap into, but it is just lore dropping. You know what I'm saying? We barely really see the relationship between Shun and his current dad. Current dad. What do you think? What do you think is a good way to call it? Okay, like his dad. Okay, so dad, biological dad, whatever. We don't even really know what his relationship is like with his dad. And we do the same freaking charade with Umi as well when she's talking to her mom and she cried because the mom barely appears in the film, and suddenly we're asking about like who is this boy, and and it's another lore drop. It is another lore drop. It is just like, okay, here's some information. Yay, now we know. Nothing in this film is really earned. It is just a bunch of crock and a crock of shit. Boring, and then we get these plot twists that really just come out of nowhere. They just come out of nowhere with no real, and it is very confusing because, okay, so we get this thing that, oh, this could be incestuous, and now they're very conflicted because they can't be together. They're brother and sister, and then we find out later from mom that, oh, actually it's more complicated than that, because you can't just judge from the photo. A photo is not enough. You need to know the full context of that photo and the history that is not even shown in the photos, that then actually he is adopted. And I had to rewind a bit because I was getting very frustrated, so my brain was not really processing what the hell was going on. I had to rewind it maybe like 2-3 times to grasp. So, oh, okay, so they're not related. So, which is also a bit of a cop out, because the scene before Umi gets up on the bus, okay, she was confessing her feelings once more, very overtly, you know, like confessing her feelings to Shun and saying that she will always like him even though they're siblings. And I empathize, okay? I can really empathize, because it must be so earth-shattering or just confusing. Like, what do you mean we're brother and sister? We clearly, and it's complicated because now we have this thing for each other. It is hard enough if it was a one-sided affair, but no, it is two. They like each other, and he replies to her. He responds and says that yes, he will continue to have feelings for her as well. And it is kind of moving, you know. It's like, I wouldn't know how to deal with those feelings. Like, what do? You can't possibly, are you just going to pretend like and move on with the relationship, or are you just going to distance yourself but still hold those relationships? Like, every night you rub one out thinking you know, it's complicated. And I was starting to perhaps empathize with this very crazy situational, this very crazy dilemma, this very crazy epiphany, like information. But now mom is telling us that, oh, actually he's not your basically he's not your brother. So now they can ethically bang, is what you're saying. Now they can ethically fucking suck it. They can fucking suck it till the cows come home. I don't know how I feel about this, okay? I don't know. Like, what is the story? What? Maybe Miyazaki should just stick to the fantasy films, because this is not his bag. This is not his bag, okay? This is not his bag. Like, what? And I don't want to blame the other writer because I don't know anything about them. What is this? What is this? And Miyazaki is also the writer for RACY, right? Because it was the other guy that directed it, but Miyazaki wrote it again with this other writer. So RACY, the plot, the way it was written, we would have to look at Miyazaki for maybe he was kind of like in a slump. Like, maybe he was falling off a little bit at this point. Maybe he was tired because he has already created the trio trifecta, and he tried to do something different with Ponyo, and people, you know, I don't know what was the reception for that really, but okay, he tried to do something different with Ponyo, and now we're here with RACY and from up on Poppy Hill. So that was what happened. We went from the suggestion of incest to full-blown incest. And now, it was just a misunderstanding, so we can ethically be together. And the Clubhouse that we love so much but don't really care about really. We need to talk to the chairman. We need to persuade him to not tear down the place. Okay, going to the principal is not enough. We need to go all the way to Tokyo, to the fucking city, to talk to the chairman. And of course they went. Oh, it is so dramatic. It is so dramatic. Overly dramatic, really. What are we doing? Okay, so we go all the way there. We have our three characters. We have the couple and we have the other guy. Okay, the third wheeler. Let's just say it like it is. He is the third wheeler at this point. Like, he has no real purpose other than just being there, okay? Nothing has purpose. We go to this guy. And for whatever reason, he asks, like, what does your father do to Umi? And thank God, Yumi has a sad sob story. Okay, dad died in the Korean War. How convenient. She uses that sad story as emotional leverage, and BAM! The chairman, he says, sure, okay, you got it. You've warned me. I'm going to not... no, I'm going to go down to the grounds and survey the place before I give my answer. But that was that was what they wanted, right? So they wanted him to go. Oh God, they went all the way. Okay, all the way. God knows how much those tickets were. They went all the way to Tokyo, all the way to the city, just for Umi, okay, to wait. And the secretary or the person working there was being very bitchy. And all they had to do was tell a sad story about the dead dad. What is it with the fucking dads? Is this like trying to demystify like something to the... Because I've been complaining about the Ghibli dads for like so many videos, and now we're trying to make the dads like, you're trying to do like a dadception, you know, like dads are important, dads are complex, they add lots of depth to the plot. Is that what's happening here? Like, what is it with the fucking dads? The dead dads as well. It's like, even if we wanted to go down that route, it could be explored way better. Because who the fuck cares about these dads? We don't know shit about these dads. We don't know shit about them. We don't know shit about anybody in this film. Like, one of the characters, the one who is living in the dorm, the female dorm, the girl's room, what was her name? What was her name? The one that paints. She's such an interesting character, but all we know is that she can't take care of herself. Okay, she overworks and she falls sick and she's like a bit ditzy, but we don't know shit about these people, and we are supposed to care. We're expected to care. Okay, so now the chairman goes back and he sees the place and he is like, wow, I will not demolish. That is it? Like, what? You get what I'm saying? The whole film, they try to make this clubhouse thing sound so important, when really the only important thing is that Umi and Shun can fuck ethically without a care in the world. If their brother or sister, or they're sinning, they're doing something outlandish, they're doing something wrong, something that will cause the heavens to shake and the world will disrupt and the tectonic plates would fall apart. This movie, this film, tries to be so self-important. It tries to be so self-important, but about nothing. It is just trying too hard. It is too heavy-handed. It is too heavy-handed. And the thing about these parts is that they don't even go together. Like I said, the only reason the clubhouse is there is that it is the place, or no, actually not even the we get to, oh god, we met Shun at the very start already. So they have crossed paths, even without the Clubhouse. Okay? They have already crossed paths. So the Clubhouse is really just an extra thing that is just there, and even the relationship with the dorm with all these other girls, we don't know like what that is like other than the food and I guess what I'm trying to say is that everything is very inconsequential and trivial, and the lore drops. I don't know what was happening with this film. I really don't. And the final sequence of them going to the ship, they zipped. Okay, they zipped so fast to the harbor, take a little boat all the way to the ship that is out at sea, and then you climb up the steps. Go to the door. Oh, I have been waiting for you. Type bullshit. That was so overdramatic. Like, what are we doing? And again, they entered the cabin, and the guy, your father. Lore drop, another lore drop. And I get that the ship thing, okay, the whole thing about the ships is supposed to be very sentimental. But guess what? Okay, the iconography of the ship is better explored in Ponyo. I said it. I said it is better explored in Ponyo. We've done Morse codes, we've done signals before, okay? Ponyo and even Porco Rosso. And this is not a very good film, okay? I would not recommend this to people. It is not good. It is not even if you are bored and just want to spend some time on no. It was very boring. It was very boring. And you know, I felt like an iPad kid in RACY. Oh, this one really takes the cake. Just a crack a jet. But anyways, I've heard that When the Wind Rises is freaking good. So, yo. Can't wait. Okay, I can't wait to get started on the films that I've never watched. Enough of this. That is the end, okay? Like and subscribe. What do I usually say? Like and subscribe. Oh, like and subscribe and do all of that. And I will see you in the next video.